My gosh, we're back.
We're
It's
back. Hi,
like
everybody.
I forgot how to work things. What's
I
going
always,
on?
I always forget how to work things. Just watching horror movies and trying to eat as many tacos as I possibly can. Trying to figure,
Excellent,
I'm
excellent.
trying to figure out how to make this my full time job. Like ever since we started doing this,
Sorry, I'm
ever
gonna crack open a tall boy of bubbly
do
water.
it, do it. Ever since I've got Coke Zero in my little cauldron. No, yeah, like I I hearken back to that day when we just put a microphone on a table and ate some tacos and talked about the Omen. I'm
And
like, man,
then
that's one of the happiest days of my
I
life.
know, and still, yet people will not send us $1 million, Christy. I don't understand.
What is up with that?
I don't know, man. A lot of jerks in the world.
I mean, if Weapons can win an Oscar for Best Supporting Actress, why can't we have $1 million?
I thought of you last night. I didn't watch the Oscars, but
I didn't
like
either.
I would just see like
Sure.
various posts, and I think Best Supporting Actress must have been I think like the first award of the night
Yeah.
because that popped up pretty early, and I saw it. And look, I just preface this by saying I love Amy Madigan as an actor and a human being. I don't that movie, man. I
No,
don't know, man.
listen, I mean, I love Amy Madigan from Streets of Fire days.
Yeah,
Like, I think she's amazing in Streets of Fire. Like, and that's like a deep cut, y'all. So
yeah,
I'm not an Amy Madigan hater. Like,
no,
I love her in Field of Dreams. I
yeah.
love her in everything she's done. She's amazing. I just don't understand this role. And it's like I texted you yesterday. I guess everything I've ever believed to be true is wrong.
Yeah. And I'm like, I mean, good for her. And it's 40 years between nominations, which is crazy. I did see photos of, she's been married to, she and Ed Harris have been married forever. And
Hmm.
so it was sort of lovely to see them there together. Like I love both of them, and
Yeah.
she's a great actor. I just, man, yeah, we are,
It's
I guess,
it's
two
not
of
her, it's the movie. And we're I think we're in the minority there.
absolutely in the minority. Yeah, definitely.
I
I mean,
don't I
I've seen people say it was like their favorite film in years. So, but on the horror front, Michael B. Jordan won Best Actor for Sinners.
look who's here.
Oh my gosh, we got a new kitty, Bill. New
We got a
kitty.
new kitty,
Christy's got a
y'all.
new kitty. Who is
This
this
is
baby?
Special Agent Clarice Starling. Because all my cats are all detectives.
Yeah,
So I've got Special Agent Scully. She's the elder,
right.
and this is Clarice. But look, she's got a little Jodie Foster face.
Oh yeah, she's ready. She will solve crimes.
Yeah, she will. She's ready to like crawl under a garage door to
Yeah,
discover
yeah.
a decapitated head.
I
Yeah, she's
recently rewatched. Oh, it was when you got her because you sent us photos and you were like, "This is Special Agent Clarice Starling," and so Aspen and I were like, "Oh shit, man, we should probably watch Silence of the Lambs," and so we
well.
did just a few weeks ago.
Speaking of which,
Yeah,
what are we going to talk about today, Michael? We're all over the place. Everybody, we're terror and
yeah.
tacos.
I forgot we're Terra Tacos. We're back. I thought it would be fun to talk about comfort horror movies. Like, what are
Mm-hmm.
our comfort horror movies? And you probably hear this question a lot too from friends of ours who maybe are not huge horror fans, or even if they like horror, but they're baffled by the idea that certain people like you and me and many others who are just obsessed with horror that it's like you're stressed out, you're trying to relax. What do? You come home, you put on a horror movie, and that
Yeah.
just I think that baffles a lot of people. So I was going to kick it off by asking you, you're not a psychopath. I know you very well. So, what is it about horror that you think has a sort of effect to actually be able to calm you in a way when, the sort of basis of the genre is to terrify or excite? What is it about certain horror movies that you just put on and you're like, I feel myself, I am myself again?
I think that's a really good question. I think there's like multi-level answers to this. It's like an onion. It's a
Excellent.
wonderful onion. There's layers. I think one is and when I give you my list of comfort, they are connected to a certain time maybe in
Hmm.
my life,
Yeah.
that I recall that time and I think of it like I think of the first time I saw this movie, or I think of what my life was like when this movie came out. And so that's part of it. I think the other part is that because we live in a dumpster fire world, for real though, like because the horrors persist, right?
Hmm.
And nobody's getting arrested
Yeah.
and nobody's like facing consequences
Right.
and like nobody in the United States anyway, like other
Right.
parts of the world, they do know that when people commit heinous crimes, they need to pay for them. But apparently here in the United States, the law is only for some people.
Right.
And so I think there's an element of like, I know that this story at least will have a resolution,
Hmm.
right? And even when the resolution is not positive or whatever, like at least I know that somehow this story will get resolved.
Yeah.
And
Well, that makes a lot
I,
of sense.
it's not like, I don't even know if it's a sense of control because it's not control. It's just like, I know how this ends. I know that some measure of justice or redemption or whatever will happen.
Hmm.
And yeah, I mean, I think that's what it is.
No, that's great. That's a great answer. Yeah, and I think the first thing you said too, that the sort of time and place. I think, yeah, obviously, I think nostalgia can play a huge part in any comfort movie or show. And for us, it just so happens that a lot of the movies we love are horror movies. Another thing I would say, and this will be clear, I think, when I list some of mine. To me, like there's also just certain settings that I find calming, and a
Oh yeah.
lot of horror movies tend to take place in those kinds of settings. Well, all right, well, kick us off. What's one of your favorite comfort horror movies?
Well, it's funny that I introduced you to Special Agent Clarice Starling because one of my favorite comfort horror movies is actually Silence of the Lambs that came out in what, 93, 92,
Yeah, I think
some
92.
it was 92. Yes, 92 because and I remember I remember the first time I saw it, I was in college. A group of us went to go see it, including my old man John Flores, even though we were not together at that time. We
That dude
went
is
as a
so
group.
old.
He's old. And I remember sitting in that theater in College Station, Texas, watching this movie not expecting to be terrified the way I was. And I sat through the whole movie with my knees like up around me, like my legs on the seat, my feet on the seat and my knees up around me because it was so suspenseful. You know, we grew up, I think maybe me more than you because I'm older than you are, but like I grew up almost along with Jodie Foster. You know,
Yeah,
like
sure.
I've been watching Jodie Foster in movies since I was a little kid and she was a little kid. And so then Silence of the Lambs, I'm not, it wasn't a comeback, but it was kind of a, she hadn't been making like big blockbuster movies for a while. You know, she
Yeah.
was already Jodie Foster, but she had gone off to college or something like that. The Sorbonne. She didn't go to the Sorbonne, but she was in France. And then she came back and did Silence of the Lambs, and it was great to see her. It was great to see Anthony Hopkins. So like the movie brings back a lot of memories from the 90s, one of the greatest decades in the world. And I love a detective. I love a detective story, and I love a girl of like an intrepid girl detective, you know, are my favorite. And she just checks all those. The movie checks all those boxes.
That, I mean, tie into, we started talking about the Oscars at the beginning, and not that the Oscars are a measure of really anything other than what got voted on, but
Not
it is one
anymore.
of the few movies to win actor, actress,
Hmm.
director, picture, like,
Right.
and I think adapted screenplay. Like it's a it's an incredible film.
It's an incredible film, and it is like it is part of the horror genre, and it is one of the ones that won an Oscar. Like,
It's funny because it's a hugely impactful movie for me. Aspen and I were talking about it. It came out, I was 16. It came out a few months before I turned 17. Not that I hadn't seen rated R movies in the theater at the time, but it was still like you got to kind of sneak in or get past the dudes, so whatever. So the first time I saw Silence, I mean, I remember the first time I saw Silence of the Lambs. I
yeah,
remember my friend's house that I was at, and we rented it, and it was at a time when I was in high school, when I was 16 and then 17, and when I started to discover, like, oh, this is what movies can be. And not even not super obscure movies. Like, that's a huge, wildly popular movie. And I had grown up on The Godfather and The Godfather 2 for familial reasons. And
right.
so that always seemed like something separate for me. But when I saw Silence of the Lambs, I was obsessed, still like way obsessed with slasher movies and things. And this was just such a different, I don't know, more mature sounds like kind of dumb, but it was a far more mature psychological horror movie than I was used to seeing. Demi is such a skilled filmmaker that I think it's one of the first movies where I really started to recognize the craft of filmmaking.
Same, same.
And
I
yeah.
mean, to the extent that like the things that I noticed the first time that I watched it are still things that blow my mind,
Mhm.
like the film itself is so told from a male gaze perspective. Before male gaze was even a thing we talked
Talked
about.
about. Yeah.
Before male gaze was even a term in our vernacular, it is very much from a male gaze perspective, saying a lot about this female character negotiating her way through a world that is dominated by men, both on like the police side and the serial killer side. Like, quite
Yeah, I
frankly,
mean, and I think I texted you this time. I stand by it is the greatest casting of extras or background actors or whatever you want to call them in the history of American cinema. Like Jonathan Demme and his team must have put out a call like, "Are you 6'4" and incredibly physically intimidating? Do you want to be in a movie?" Every scene she's in, and she's
mm-hmm.
little, right?
Yeah,
I think Jodie Foster is quite short. I
yeah,
say that as someone who's quite short, but she is dwarfed in every scene. She's always at a physical detriment in that film. And so
right.
you always have to see her doing everything else better than everyone else to overcome this very clear shortcoming, pardon the pun, that she has.
Right. And not only having to do things better than everyone else sometimes, but making herself small, not just in physical stature, but making herself smaller to not be intimidating to these men. She does it a few times, and she does it with Dr. Chilton, who's like one of the greatest villains ever
God, what a piece of
in
shit.
cinema. Oh my God, he's so good. And that edit is one of the best edits ever in the world, where she goes, "Well, what is he?" And it cuts to him. Oh, he's a monster. When he says, "Are you going to stay in Baltimore? Baltimore can be fun, blah, blah, blah." And she has to make herself small to not piss him off and flatter him.
Hmm.
And then when she goes to see the two scientists who are not villains, who are nice men, who are doing their job, but one of them, says to her, "Hey, do you want to go out and get a cheeseburger or whatever?" And she has to again make herself small to not intimidate these men so that she can get their help.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just, and it's also one of the first films where I noticed, and I'm sure, I mean, of course they exist, but it's one of the first films where I became aware of, oh, you can look straight down the lens.
Hmm.
Like, there's so much just looking straight down the lens, and having a conversation with someone who is the lens,
Yeah.
and how unsettling that can be. And if you're a genius like Demi, like knowing when to use that, it's remarkable.
Yeah.
It's still like, filmmaking wise, one of the most brilliant films ever made.
It is, I mean, not almost every serial killer movie or show that came after it is pulling from it.
Yeah,
Even really great ones like,
yeah.
Seven or, Mindhunter. I mean, even like, these things made by another one of the best living directors.
Hmm.
Even he is like, "Oh no, we're going to use Silence of the Lambs."
Why reinvent it?
Yeah, and even more recently with Oz Perkins in Longlegs, he purposefully sort of sets up the language of Silence of the Lambs so then he can kind
Hmm.
of like undercut it.
Oh, absolutely. It's not a coincidence, in my opinion, that Longlegs is kind of like a glam rock. It's Buffalo Bill, like, exponential. You
Yeah,
know what I
and
mean?
she is, I mean, we have a young female
FBI
FBI agent
agent.
and it's set in a time, I mean, I'm sure there are still issues, but it's set back in time so
Hmm.
that it's still rare.
Yeah.
I don't know how many more ways we could say if you haven't seen Silence of the Lambs, like you have to see it.
It's also like, so we've talked about how brilliant it is, and as a movie, right? and
Right.
and the craft of making film, but also like it's warm. It feels warm. The sound feels warm. The movie this is gonna sound crazy, Michael. Like the movie like hugs you in a
Yeah.
way.
I
It's like a it's like a warm hug,
yeah.
and it's so comforting.
And then it'll show you some of the most horrifying images you'll ever see. But yeah,
Right.
I agree. That's awesome. So my first one is probably not a surprise to you or anyone who listens to us, but my first comfort horror movie is The House of the Devil. And I think The House of the Devil is comforting. It's working on like multiple levels. It is set in the 80s, and as we have talked about on the podcast before, it is one of the few movies set in the 80s that really truly tries to make an 80s horror film
Mm-hmm.
to the point where I think it's the best costuming of a 1980s set movie, is as period piece movie
Yes.
that I've ever seen.
Yeah. I
But by
mean
far.
that first scene, the opening, like even pre-credits, right? We've talked about it before, where the first time I saw it, I thought, how did I miss this movie? Why don't I know this
Yeah.
movie? Like, did I miss this movie? Like,
And at the
what is going
time,
on?
we didn't know who Jocelyn Donahue was, and most people didn't know. Like Greta Gerwig still wasn't Greta Gerwig
No,
yet. It's like you have to see. There's like a couple of actors
you
who are
don't. It's
fake.
not. You get to Dee Wallace, and then you
Yes,
go, oh,
yeah.
this
For a minute, you're like, wait, why is Elliot's mom
right.
in her 60s? Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but it's so that's part of it. Obviously, it's like the nostalgia of the 80s for me obviously is huge. It's when I was a kid. And then this is like the setting. Like I think I've talked about before. I have never, I mean, I was born in Philadelphia, but I grew up in Texas and lived in Chicago briefly. I have never lived in New England in my life. I haven't even really been there that often. Like I've been to Boston a couple times and Providence once, but there is something about like a New England setting that I just find so appealing and comforting. And I
What is
don't
it
know
about
why.
that?
I think it's the thing I want, the thing I've never had, I guess. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. And like one of Aspen's aunts, she lives on a farm in Vermont, and they make their own maple syrup. And so every year for Christmas, Aspen's aunt sends Aspen and me like a jar of their maple syrup. And again, I don't even know if I've ever seen a maple tree, Christy. But every year I'm like, this is the most amazing gift.
It's the most amazing. No, it's the same. I've told you I have family. They have a farm in Maine, and same thing. They make a lot of their own stuff, and I've spent quite a bit of time in New England, and I love it. And there are times when, especially during the summer down here, where I have to ask myself, like, why? I
Yeah,
love New England. I love New England. Why do I live in Texas? Like, why do
yeah.
I live here?
And I mean, like, even like, for those of you who don't live here, yesterday started, it was 80 degrees. And then by the time I went to bed, it was 26.
Yeah,
Like, I just want to live in a place that has like normal ass seasons.
I know. So I have a question about this because I clearly I feel the same way about New England. You and I both love movies. If y'all don't know this already, not just horror movies. Like
Yeah, sure.
we're cinephiles. We love movies. And I was up in Providence. I was up there working at some point, and one of the people I was working with said, "I'm going to take you on a tour around New England, around Rhode Island, which takes all of 30 minutes. That's small, y'all. But we went to like a few small towns, and we went to this town called Barrington, Rhode Island.
Mm-hmm.
Barrington is supposed to be America's most beautiful small village, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I was like, how beautiful can it be? Like, how
Yeah.
beautiful can it be? So when we arrived in Barrington, I started looking around, and it was fall, so it was even more perfect. And I thought, I have seen, like, where have I seen this before? Like, where have I seen this town? And it turns out Witches of Eastwick was
Was
filmed
filmed there.
in Barrington. And yet, like any street you look down, it's like, so at one point we were in the car going somewhere, and I turned to look, and it was a beautiful fall scene where it was like a swooping tree dropping its leaves on the ground by a beautiful white colonial house with a white picket fence. And I'm not lying to you, a girl dressed in a cheerleader outfit and a boy in a Letterman jacket were walking down the sidewalk holding hands, like talking to each other. And I was like, that, what? Where am I? Like it felt like I was in It's a Wonderful Life, you
Yeah,
know? And
that's amazing.
I wonder if that's part of it for you and me as far as New England, because so many of like our America stories are
Yeah,
set in that part of the
yeah.
country. I don't know.
I mean, that might be it. It is like this. I mean, it's, it's like when you have movies like Pleasantville or things like that, where you kind of a character from our world steps into that kind of world. It's almost always like a New England type setting.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's just something about it. And I know for me also, like we've talked about this before, but one of my first favorite horror movies, I don't even think it's actually set in New England, but it looks like New England is something Wicked This Way Comes. And I just remember, is it new? It might be actually. And it's just
I
like,
think it's like Connecticut or
and I,
Vermont
yeah, I
or
just remember like
something
the
like that.
fall leaves and yeah, and so that for me also part of, just to go back to House of the Devil. I love the soundtrack to that movie so much
It's great.
that also just like brings me great comfort. Is just
Yeah.
listening to the score and the soundtrack of that movie.
Yeah. And it's got Tom Noonan, R.I.P.
All right, yeah. Yeah, it's great, and it's also just a kick-ass Ty West. Kind of put Ty West on the map. So,
Yeah.
all right, what do you got? What's number two?
Number two, okay. So I was going to mention Rosemary's Baby because, like, everybody knows that I love Rosemary's Baby, and it's on all the time. So I'll put it out there, but I don't necessarily want to talk about it because we've talked about it so much on the show. So this is a movie that is kind of like, I don't know if it's a deep cut. It may be a deep cut for like our fans because it's not necessarily in the horror genre, although it is horror. It's like horror suspense, that sort of thing.
Mhm.
And it is a 19 like early 1970s movie, British movie. I think it's like Amicus Productions or one of those like early 1960s production houses, and it's called Night Watch, and it's based on a play called Night Watch, and the movie stars Elizabeth Taylor. And this was during Elizabeth Taylor's weird European, when she had been blackballed in the United States because she was a whore, because she married Eddie Fisher and all that stuff. And she
Right.
cost too much money, quite frankly. She was like, "You're not going to pay me? Too
I'm
bad.
gonna
I'll go
go.
to I'll go to Europe." So she was making movies over there. It it is it's a horror suspense, and the horror part really comes in at the end when you see Liz Taylor lose her freaking mind and become a psycho. Because you've never seen her like this, I guarantee you. It's just really cool. Takes place in London. She's married to this man, and her best friend is Billy Whitelaw.
Oh hell
um,
yeah!
yeah, yeah. Her best friend is played by Billy Whitelaw, who, for those of you who don't know, is the maid in The Omen. And this is when she was younger, and no shade to Billy Whitelaw, but she was really hot in Night Watch. It's just like the grooving late 60s, early 70s. And it's this weird, I don't want to ruin it for anyone, but there's like this weird twist at the end.
Okay, I've never
He,
se- never seen this movie.
Yeah, so they live in this amazing house in the middle of London, her and her husband. Billy Whitelaw's her friend who comes to stay with them. And they live next door to this building that's kind of derelict, right? And we know right off the bat, that Elizabeth Taylor's character has had some mental health issues. And she starts seeing a dead body in the building next door, and
Nice.
nobody believes her. Yeah, like no one believes her. And if you want to go see it, you should go see it, and I'll leave it at that. But the main thing is that she sees a dead body in the house next door through the window on a stormy night. She tries to tell people, no one believes her, and then the movie happens.
Awesome.
And it's just got like, first of all, the decor of the house is like just so early 70s. I love it. I love Elizabeth Taylor. She's one of my favorite classic Hollywood actors. She was a badass as a person and an actor. It's one of my favorite things where it's like, I know this sounds terrible, but she's being gaslit, you
Yeah,
know. It's
sure.
it's being alone in a situation and not knowing how you're going to find your way out of it, and everybody around you is absolutely untrustworthy, or you don't know, like you don't know who to believe. It's that kind of situation. It's got really groovy music
Excellent.
for the time period. I mean, just it's like the costumes, the look. Yeah, I don't quite fully understand why it's become a comfort film.
But it has, yeah.
but it
Well,
has, and it
I mean,
takes place in England, and I love it.
I think that's part of the beauty of the comfort horror film. Like you might not even be able to rationalize it,
Right.
but it's like, yeah. Well, I've never seen this. Is
Yeah, you should. I mean, you should
yeah,
watch it. I think Aspen would also
yeah,
really, really,
and
really
she
enjoy it.
Aspen also loves Liz Taylor, so
Yeah, and it's like there are some elements in her house that I go back and I'm like, oh, I have to watch that scene again so I can see that apartment because I want that in my home. Like
right.
it has it's got all the things. It's England, it's Elizabeth Taylor, it's kind of a mystery. There's also horror.
It's groovy.
It's groovy.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of British actors in it that I love.
Uh huh.
It's just, and it's weird, and it's got
Okay.
like a weird element to it.
No,
Yeah.
I want to check it out. Okay, so that's Night Watch. Side note, totally unrelated. Like, there's this amazing Russian vampire film franchise. It's two movies, but each of them are like 3 hours long because they're Russian. And one is it's Night Watch and Day Watch. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so very different film, I'm sure. But this is Night Watch starring Elizabeth Taylor. All right, I'm going to check it out. My next one is this is a strange one because it became a comfort movie like much later in my life. And honestly, when this movie came out, I did not like it. In fact, I was angry about it. And the older I've gotten, for whatever reason, I've really come around on it. And it is Paranormal Activity.
I remember you not liking this
Yeah,
movie.
and I know why I didn't like it, but I think I don't know, honestly, I think making a movie absolutely changed my mind. And while this is unrelated, the woman who stars in it, she went to school with my little sister-in-law, and I got to hear stories from my sister-in-law just about how bare bones this production was. And so I think just having, one,
Yeah.
like when we made our movie, and two, just having grown up a little and gotten less angry, like going back and watching, I find comfort now. I turn it on and I watch what they were able to accomplish with, like, I mean, nothing,
With
like
nothing.
nothing in terms of
Yeah.
Hollywood money, like nothing.
Yeah.
And the more I have watched it, also it's sort of a lot of it is just daily life, so it's just kind of like, oh, I'm just watching this young couple live there, like, and then it gets crazy. But the comfort for me more than that is I get to watch it truly and say, like, man, this is really kind of astonishing what they did here,
Hmm.
and I've just grown to appreciate it in a much different way. Like I said, I was not a fan of it. I have definitely come around, and I'll put it on now. Also, the scares are really, they're well done, but it's nothing insane. Like they don't
Right.
have the budget to do anything insane.
No, they
So it's
just
like a
have the
just a
budget to suggest.
yes. And so I really have come around on that, and I think have much more respect for what they were able to accomplish with truly, again, in Hollywood terms, so little. And it basically launched Jason Blum's career. So
Yeah. I mean,
for better
I've always kind of loved that movie, for better, for worse.
for better for worse, yeah, yeah, no, and now truly it is like one of my staples. So if
Yeah.
if you missed Paranormal Activity, it's post Blair Witch, obviously, but it is a huge step in American found footage horror films. Like
Right.
it's undeniable. Blair Witch was enormous, and then
Hmm.
Paranormal Activity,
Kind of like stepped it up.
yeah, and I think we have a lot of found footage because those two movies. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I got about it. But
My last one is it's kind of weird. I mean, no, it's
Mhm.
not weird. I mean, it's just it's not even one of my favorite movies of all time, but
Right,
it's become a comfort movie for me for some reason.
sure,
And it's I Know What You Did Last Summer. And I love this movie so much, but it's weird because when people say, "What are your favorite slashers or what are your favorite horrors?" Sometimes I don't even mention I Know What You Did Last Summer.
sure.
But it is like it has turned into one of my favorite slashers and one of my favorite just horror movies. And I will just put it on in the background. And I think it's because I don't remember exactly what year it came out, but it's got Sarah Michelle Gellar, it's
Mhm.
got Freddie Prinze Jr.,
Yeah.
it's got Jennifer Love Hewitt, it's got Ryan Phillippe in it, the other kid, I can't remember the kid's name, who works at the fish place or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
Um, and it's so nice. Like it's
yeah.
so
It's
mid. 90s.
It's 90, I think it's 96 or 97. It's right after Scream, which is 96.
Right. And it's like Buffy had already happened. Like these young actors already were beginning to have a career, and
Hmm.
you'd see them in all these movies. And I think it just reminds me of a time when because I was already a young mom by 96. Like Issa was already born. I had a baby. So it reminds me of a time that is kind of like, I don't know, that I
Yeah,
like
it's huge.
before cell phones, before internet, before and like right on the cusp of all that. And it's from a very, very formative period in my life. And I also think it's just really good. I think the premise is great. Again, it's like small town
Hmm.
America, New England again. It's also one of these movies where, and of course, Scream started this, where it's the look of the movie is different from the slashers that came before it. Like slashers in the 80s are grittier,
Oh yeah, much
and the cinematography in 90s slashers is much cleaner, like
cleaner.
much. And so there's that part of it that I really appreciate for
Yeah,
some reason.
I really love it too for a lot of the same reasons. I also love like this is so dumb because I don't know these people, but I love that Geller and Prinz are still married.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
like but you know obviously Scream is one of my favorite movies of all time.
both of us, yeah.
But I know what you did last summer. You were sort of unburdened of the all of the postmodern, in your face postmodern shit that Scream is purposefully doing.
Right.
I know what you did last summer is still just a slasher. It is a quintessential 90s slasher. It's
Yeah.
not commenting on slashers. It's not
It's just
meta.
being a slasher.
Yeah, yeah. Whereas Scream, again, one of my favorite movies, it's like it's doing other things and it's
Mhm.
trying to do other things. I know what you did last summer because it's no, we're gonna use the model of an 80s slasher, but clearly define it in 90s terms, which is
Yeah.
it's great.
Yeah. And I love all those kids. They're not kids, but at the
Yeah.
time they were kids. They were my age, you
Yeah.
know.
Can I share an absurd story with you that
Yes,
you will
please.
laugh at me? I don't think
Always.
I've ever told you this. So the highest I've ever been.
Okay.
Don't
I
do
like how
drugs,
this
guys.
starts.
Drugs are bad. The highest I've ever been. My friend Brian and I were watching I Know What You Did Last Summer, Part 2. We were watching it on, I think it must have been on cable. And we were so fully fucking invested into this movie, right? And about 45 minutes in, we both turn to each other and just go, are we watching this movie in Spanish? And we realized we had been watching I Know What You Did Last Summer Part 2 in Spanish. Neither of us know any Spanish beyond like being able to order food. And we were still fully on
Hey,
highest I've
man.
ever been, guys. So now when I see that part two in English, I'm like, nah,
Nah,
it's not really doing it
nah.
for me.
It's not doing it for me.
um,
I love that story.
so my final one is it is horror because it's horror. It is not scary, but it is Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow.
I love that movie.
Yeah, it's Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow. It is
It's beautiful.
it's how Aspen and I always, when we kick off spooky season, it
Hmm.
is where we kick it off. It has truly one of my favorite costumes I have ever seen in a film. It's the like
The Miranda Richardson.
yes, and it's just I love that movie. It's for those who don't know, it stars Johnny Depp, Christina Ricci, Miranda Richardson, every British actor you've ever seen in your life.
Uh-huh.
Casper Van Dien for reasons.
Yeah.
But it is I think to me it's all the best things of Tim Burton. It's his weird color palette and trees that don't look like normal tree, all of those
Right.
things.
Christopher Walken.
Walk in, yes, and it's the Danny Elfman score. And like Depp is like he's in it, y'all.
He's in it. No. And it's like I love this movie because I talk about this all the time, but it's true. This is actually Tim Burton's love letter to the like Hammer films,
Yes, yes.
because it has that like you watch Sleepy Hollow, it is on a soundstage. It is
Uh-huh.
mostly done on a
And they're
soundstage.
not trying to convince you it's not.
Yeah. They're not. This is like New England on a soundstage
Yeah.
back in Pilgrim colonial times. Um, and they're not telling you it isn't. It's over the top in some ways. It's also beautifully acted. The cinematography is fantastic. There's one comedic moment. Well, there's several comedic moments, but there's one comedic moment in this movie that I love so much, and it's when after Johnny Depp has seen the Headless Horseman for the first time,
Hmm.
and he's in the bed, and he's like, he was headless. I'm telling you. And Michael Gambon is like, yes, I know. We told you. Like everybody told you. And he's like, no, you don't understand. He had no head. And then he faints. It is one of the funniest things I've ever seen on film. It's
Yeah,
so funny.
and I love it because Depp is, I mean, while fully committed, he is in a comedy.
He's in a comedy.
And everyone else is in like the most dramatic gothic story. Like and it works. I love it. I love it so
Yeah,
much.
it's so
And like,
fantastic when he sees the spider under the bed. And he's like,
yeah,
it's just a spider.
and you
You
have
kill it.
yes, and you have like elements of like colonial witchcraft and
Hmm.
things like that. It is, to me, it is like if Autumn gave birth to a film, Autumn the season, not some person named Autumn, but if Autumn gave birth to a film, it would be Sleepy Hollow. Like
Yeah.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And like I said, every year, I don't know, you guys do this too. Like we have a list of horror movies. I mean, we watch them all year, but she'll commit fully during
Yeah.
October. And so like we'll have a list of movies and it's like a mix of things we've seen a million times and then new stuff we want to watch. But we always start
Yeah.
with Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah, see, I mean, it is a touchstone for that season and for Halloween, and it's also, I don't know, it's just, again, it's just beautiful to watch.
Yeah. And
It's beautiful to watch.
it is like you were saying with Silence of the Lambs, but far less violent. But it's like it is like a warm hug for me. Like when we turn that on, I'm like, it's fall is here, Halloween is
Hmm.
coming. It's probably still 98 degrees outside, but
Yeah,
I can trick
but
myself.
somewhere the leaves are falling and
Yes,
turning
somewhere, yeah, yeah.
orange, and yeah, somewhere
And truly,
there's
like,
fog.
like, well, I don't have, obviously you are a costume designer and a fan of fashion in a way that I am not. Like, I think to me those costumes, it's like a master class in like storytelling through costume.
Right.
I just love them, and on top of them like being awesome, like Ricci's dresses and Miranda Richardson's dress, like, but it's like someone can come on screen and you see what they're wearing and you're like,
And
I
you
know who
you
this
know
person is.
you know
Like it,
exactly who they are, and in a way that is true to the period and also slightly anachronistic, but you don't
yeah.
you
Yeah, no, it totally, because it is like, it is a very much a Tim Burton created world. Like it's that time
hmm
period, but through the
yeah,
lens of Tim Burton.
which is what the Hammer movies did. Like the Hammer movies were
Yeah,
like specifically a time period through the lens of the late 60s, early 70s.
yeah. And so it's a period piece, but it's also groovy. Now, I will say, and we don't have to go down this crazy rabbit hole. I feel like Del Toro, with his Frankenstein, kind of took a swing in that way with some of like Oscar Isaac's costuming, but for whatever reason, it did not work for me.
Yeah, I feel that, and I also think that with Mia Goth's clothes, it tried to go in the same direction as the women's clothes in Bram Stoker's Dracula,
Hmm.
um, and it just didn't work for me.
Yeah.
There were so many choices made in that movie, and that's not to say that those clothes were not beautiful or beautifully constructed or beautifully made or whatever, but they just didn't add anything to the
Yeah.
story of Frankenstein for me.
No, no, and I will say in those cases I will always blame a director and not a costume designer. I mean,
Yeah.
ultimately the designer has to execute, whatever. Anyway, I don't want to start piling on Frankenstein, but it's just to say like the world Burton creates, those costumes absolutely make perfect sense in that world.
Hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I would love to hear other people's comfort films. If you have comfort horror movies, let us know. But like, yeah,
Yes, please tell us. Go on our Facebook page or tell us on Instagram or wherever and go check out Mike's the thing that Mike is doing. I'm going to do this because I'm pointing at you.
I'm yeah, I started it was born here out of spooky school and on now honestly me just having way too much time on my hands. So if you have time, go check out Adjunct Horror. It's I talk about horror in history and literature mainly. It's basically like I miss teaching college, but I don't want to go teach college again.
I don't blame you. I miss
Yeah.
teaching the high school kids, but I don't want to go teach
But
the high
yeah,
school
it's
kids.
not enough to go do it. Real quick, do we want to say anything about the Moor?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to, I don't know if I liked it as much as you did. I
No,
was
no,
confused. Yeah, I was confused most of the time.
I honestly like because I think I stopped texting because I thought you were watching it. It is for me. It is a case of I enjoyed acts 1 and 2, and I thought Act 3 drove off a fucking cliff.
Yeah,
And
like what happened?
yeah, and I mean, even Aspen was talking about it. I mean, we don't have to go too far into it because it's like a whole movie, but it's got great atmosphere. The setting is incredible. It's the Yorkshire
Hmm.
Moors. I
Yeah,
was
what more do
like,
you want?
I am in.
Yeah,
It started in the 90s. I was like, I am in. It stars a redhead. Come on.
all the things that you
All it-
like.
and I thought it started out, I was like, oh, this is a cool, weird, creepy mystery. And then I I don't know, like I rarely have felt I thought there were so many, especially late in the film. I rarely say this, Christy. I thought there were so many missteps in editing that I was honestly baffled.
No,
I
I
mean
agree.
baffled.
It would go back and forth to scenes where I was like, "What are we
Right.
like?" The very end, when she says something,
Yeah.
and you think the end, right? And no, then it goes back,
Right.
and
And you're
there's like
like,
a whole other scene, and it's like, wait, what is
and
happening?
it's actually set up in a way that you think it's a flashback, but it's not. Yeah. And it's so strange because I felt like, again, this is The Moor from 2023. It's a British film. If you want to watch a movie for stunning scenery
Mhm.
and for what I thought was a very interesting, cool setup, but man, you know how sometimes we're just like, it's hard to end a movie.
Yeah, it really is. And I was not a fan of the writing. I thought the writing was just kind of like, I don't really know how to solve this plot wise.
Correct.
I don't know how to solve this or even express this in a scene with words. So we're just going to talk some nonsense
Yeah.
and then we're going to cut to something else.
Yeah.
It was
There,
a lot of that where I was like, you didn't I'm listening to you talk and you're saying things, but
but
I'm
it's
not learning anything.
Yeah, there's like an old adage, and I'm sure a lot of people have heard it, but in writing for, I mean, really for anything, but specifically for, like film and television and stuff, but it's like if you have problems in Act 3, they're actually Act 1 problems. And I think this movie is a perfect example of that. Because by
Yeah.
the time you get to Act 3, when it really falls apart, then you start to realize, well, they
They
didn't
didn't
do
set
the
you up.
they
They
didn't do
didn't
the
do.
work they needed to do.
Yeah, at one point,
Um,
John turned to me and said, "What are the rules of this movie?
yeah,
What are the rules of the
exactly.
monster?"
And
And I
it's
was
like,
like,
and if they didn't know, they would just like, I don't know, give that character a monologue.
"Yeah,
Yeah, it was very strange. So no, I feel bad because I was like, oh, I'm so excited, and then by the end I was not, and then you ended up watching it. But it is the more, and I will say this, if nothing else, like my God, that scenery,
yeah."
like
I think I texted you and I was like, "Did they just go point the camera somewhere and said, 'Don't worry about it. It'll be stunning.'"
yeah, like I was like, I just want to go to the north of England now and hear people
We
say the North.
we have to go. We have to go
Yeah,
because the lady in New Orleans told me that I have to go. So when a lady in New Orleans tells you that you have to go somewhere, you have to go. We have
you
to go
have
to
to go.
York. We have to
Yeah.
go to York. We have to go to Yorkshire. We have
I
to
would
go.
love to. I went when I was 18, and that was a million years ago. So I would love to go back.
You know what's coming? And
What?
we're gonna watch. We're gonna hate watch it so good. Is
Dracula?
the Dracula? But I refuse to pay $20 for it right now.
No, no, I will not pay 20. I will not give Luc Besson
I'm
$20.
I'm not gonna give Caleb Landry, whatever his name is, $20. I hate him, and I don't care who knows it. I just like
I think he grew up down the street from where we live.
I think he did too. And at one point I made a post on Facebook where I was like, oh, now I know what it is. Like, if you look at pictures of Caleb Landry as Dracula, it reminds me of Mr. Toad from Wind in the Willows, Mr. Toad of Toad Hall. And I
Yeah.
posted that. I was like, look, it's uncanny. And then someone with a Caleb Landry Jones account liked it. And then I went back and it was gone. So I was like, I wonder. I wonder.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
it was crazy. So
watch your
maybe it's
back when you're
gone.
on these streets.
When I go to Garland Thrift,
Yeah.
I have to. I have to, because that hose from Garland.
Yeah, definitely. All right, yeah. So we're gonna hate.
We're gonna
Wouldn't it
hate
be
watch
amazing if
Dracula.
somehow we ended up loving it? It's like we were wrong. We absolutely love Caleb.
Oh my God, that would be like such fucking egg on my face.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen. I've seen
I
enough
don't
of the
think it's
film.
gonna happen, but I think I'm gonna love hate watching it so much.
Yeah.
I think if you haven't, you gotta go watch Ugly Stepsister, Mike.
Okay.
You gotta go do that. You're gonna love it so much. I watched it again and it's so good. I think you'll like it, and I think Aspen will
Cool.
like it
And
too.
we got a couple really interest like Hokum is coming out, and that stars Adam Scott. It's like an Irish horror movie. I think Adam Scott goes over there. There is it Undertone,
Undertone. Yeah,
which people are flipping the fuck out about
yeah,
because it's like an oral
yeah. I can't wait to
experience.
see it.
So we
Yeah,
got a lot. We got a lot to get into. Send us $1 million so we can quit our jobs and just do this.
and just do this. All
Yeah.
right.
All right.
Bye,
See you next time.
y'all.
Bye.